And allow me to begin by saying that, what he was speaking about today, I was not able really to follow because, I followed after the event. Mm-hmm. And I think William Ruto is suffering from a very chronic problem of promises. His tongue can't get tired of making promises, new promises after new promises. Vision 2030, as it was formulated in the year 2008, mm-hmm. had actually a very clear roadmap. We knew where we are going, what we wanted to achieve, and they had 3 pillars. I wonder whether you have had an opportunity to look at the Vision 2030. It had 3 pillars, yeah. Socio, economic, and political. Mm-hmm. They are indicators that were meant to be achieved so that we get to Vision 2030. Now, we are in the year 2026. Before we even think about beyond 2030, the way he's speaking about beyond 2030, don't you think we should have done an audit of how far we've gone with the Vision 2030?
Perhaps to quote the chairman of the Vision 2030 board, Dr. Emmanuel Zai, he said that today we've reached 66.1% since the Vision 2030 blueprint was launched in 2008.
Exactly what I'm saying is, what is this 66%? What is this that you have achieved? What is this that you have not achieved? What is this that is too near and too far? And what is this thing that can be achieved between now and 2030? Because we are not yet in 2030. This vision that Mr. William Ruto is speaking about, in my opinion, is just a hoax. It's not anchored on anything. He doesn't seem to say this is exactly what we want to achieve as a nation. In fact, in my opinion, it looks like just another campaign slogan. Bottom up, Mutia Boda Boda, Mutia Piki Piki, Singapore, Vietnam, beyond 2030. By the way, what is beyond 2030? 2031 is beyond 2030. 2035 is beyond 2030. What is this thing that is in this vision? How comes this thing has been born out of, it's something that should have come, we should have seen it coming. It's something that is coming as an emergency. It looks like we have gotten a new philosophy all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. The problem about governance that William Ruto is facing is the fact that when you are the president, much as you want to promise, it must be a promise versus what you have achieved. Between this and this time, I promised this. But now for William Ruto, because he's not achieving much, so he has to keep bringing up something that now will be seen to build hope in the minds of the people of Kenya. And if you listen to what he has said, what is measurable in what William Ruto said today? What indicators can you see, can you feel in the speech that he made today that will now tell you that we want to move? Because 2030 vision, mm-hmm. the way it was formulated, we wanted to be a middle income country by 2030. It's something that was a target. We had a target. This is exactly what we want to achieve by 2030. In 12 years, this is exactly what we want to achieve. But when we are saying that after he has left office, it is our hope that he will leave office next year. So therefore, even after he has left office, we will still be within the 2030 vision.
And that's understandable, because at the end of the day, regardless of who's in office, it's quite necessary to begin planning for the future by formulating long-term development goals through an inclusive participatory process. So let's just hear on what exactly the president had to say, just a short extract from his earlier speech, where he said, far too long we've made elections seem like a matter of life and death. Let's listen in to the president.
May say, this being a year where we are going into politics, maybe this should not be the opportunity for us. Now, I want to tell them, Kenya is bigger than any election. For far too long, we have made elections to look like it is a matter of life and death. It is not. Yes, it is important. And the reason why we have not achieved some of our targets is because we have made our plans not with the foresight of the future, not thinking about the next generation, but simply thinking about the next election.
Okay, so perhaps he's had a Damascus moment, because earlier on you were criticizing him for being heavy on promises, light on delivery. This time round, he says, the reason why we've not achieved some of our targets is that we have made our plans with the foresight of without the foresight of the future, but simply thinking about the next elections.
First, when you look at William Ruto speaking, you'd imagine he's a motivational speaker or a person who has been invited to just come and speak in that particular conference. I wonder whether it occurs to Mr. William Ruto that between 2008, when this 2030 vision was formulated, he was a minister. Thereafter, he became deputy president for 10 years. He has been president for 4 years. Cumulatively, he has been within this 2030 vision, he's been right at the center. Now, when he says that we've been thinking about forming policies based on the next election, who is he addressing? Who is we? He was with Uhuru Kenyatta as his deputy, his principal assistant for 10 years. So who was not formulating these policies? It is him. He was right in the middle of it. I also don't think he is saying it in good faith, because if indeed he thought that we should not have the election in mind, he must know that the backbone of our democracy are our elections. Mm-hmm. Right at the middle of our democracy, mm-hmm. the measure of our democracy is right vested in our elections. So therefore, it's not something that you can wish away. It is our elections that give us leaders. And once you get a good leader, then you can be able to implement these particular visions that you have. But when you have a bad leader, the way you have said it, he's very heavy on promises, but very low on deliverables. Then an election is as important as every other aspect of the country. If we don't take our elections very seriously, if we don't think about our elections and put them right at the center of our thinking, mm-hmm. we shall get ourselves in the situation that we are in now, with a bad president. With a bad president, mm-hmm. you waste 5 years. So therefore, you can't say that you have a plan of the nation and you are not thinking about the next election. You must think about the next election. The people of Kenya today, what should worry them? Is it the vision of the future or correcting the problem that we are in? Is it a vision of 2060 or correcting the mess that we are in now today? Because we find ourselves in a very difficult
But failing to plan is planning to fail at the end of the day.
Now, that's why we have to first plan to salvage this nation in the situation that we are now in now. Before we even think about what will happen in 2032, 2037, the years to come,
so
we have an opportunity to sort out a problem in the next 364 days.
So will the DCP party actively involve in this Beyond Vision 2030?
Our preoccupation now and where we shall play and offer to the people of Kenya, not the vision even 2060. The thing that we as a party will do is to help this nation, put every effort to help this nation get rid of a bad president. That already we shall have participated in ensuring that we are working for our future. Let me tell you, and I want to just give you a plain example.
Allow me to cut you
Let me
short,
just give you a plain example.
Okay.
Just a plain example.
Yes.
So that, you can measure my words versus the vision. When President William Ruto came into power, our national debt was at 8 trillion. Today, our national debt is at 13 trillion. That is a whole dag of 4 years of 5 trillion. So it does not matter how much and how beautiful our blueprint will be. If he was to come back again, he can dig a hole that is way too deep that even those who come after him cannot be able to run this country. And it has happened in many other countries. You have seen inflation grow tenfold, 100-fold, just because they have bad leaders. So therefore, as a party, it will be, the onus is on us. And I am very happy because our party leader says, I actively participated in bringing this problem. I will put even double effort in curing this problem that I actually participated actively in bringing.
And as we move this conversation forward, why would some of your colleagues call for the postponement of such a weighty national conversation? Because it seems like it'll fuel the criticism that the opposition is perhaps agendaless or failing to clearly articulate policy.
You know, an exam sometimes depends on who is the person who is marking that exam. Who is calling us agendaless? Is it the people of Kenya or the president? If a competitor calls us agendaless, then I will not be worried. You know, let me tell you, Rogers, when Mr. William Ruto says that we are agendaless, and I'm sure this will be the backbone of our conversation tonight, he has been president for 4 years. He has an agenda for the people of Kenya. The yardstick that we are using to measure his success are words that he has said out of his own mouth. We have never given him, or the people of Kenya have never told him, we want you to do this. It is him who has said, I want to do this and that, and I want to do this road. I was in Kipeto today. He's the one that went to Kipeto and told them that he would do that road, he himself. So the yardstick the people of that area are using are words that he has said using his own mouth. You know, when you speak about an agenda, every agenda that we have as the opposition, the United Alternative Government, the first agenda that must first go through before all these other agendas that we speak about, health, water, economic transformation, education, all these things, before we get there, we must remove William Ruto. So long as he's still the president, there's no agenda that can move. Because we have been able, and you saw that in the Ruto at 4 speech that was made by Rigathi Gachagua, he mentioned specific misses that we have seen from government.
And we'll get to that.
We will get to that.
Yeah.
But as a people, as a party, as the opposition, there are things that we are saying that are not correct in this nation. But they cannot be corrected because we have been telling him. We have been elected on his party, by the way. We were elected on the UDA party. So it was even more fashionable to continue clapping for him. But we can't clap for him when he's still digging the hole deeper. Our agenda number one, Rogers, our agenda number one, whether he likes it or not, and by the way, he can't set the agenda for us. If we are his competitors, why is he worried that we don't have an agenda?
But Kenyans need to know your agenda.
I mean, we shall get there. We shall get there. We shall get there.
Until Ruto goes home?
Sorry?
You'll get to the agenda after Ruto goes home?
No.
Okay.
First and foremost, and you hear in our meetings, when I get to a meeting, assuming I was in a rally today, I'll ask the people, how are you? Are you with us? William Ruto go home. Once we agree that he's going home, we say that we improve on education, we improve on health, we improve, and you have even had my party leader speak out his vision. We're with him even on this interview. He has said the things that he'll do, restoring the payslip dignity, removing these mandatory deductions on housing levy, all these issues on SHA, and I mean you have had his blueprint, but it cannot happen when William Ruto is there.
You know, as you call out the government excesses, on the flip side, the government doesn't shy away from articulating its successes, as it claims. And I'll just name them, going list by list. They mention the boost in foreign exchange reserves, the stabilizing of the Kenyan shilling against the dollar that's currently at 129. Foreign direct investment has increased. The CBK lending rate is down to roughly 8.7%. 7.2 million farmers registered. We have a fertilizer subsidy that focuses on subsidizing production and not consumption. Unga prices have gone down, increasing funding to the education sector to roughly 784 billion. I mean, the list goes on. Infrastructure development, roads, port modernization. Aren't you looking at the glass half empty?
You know, I've told you, when you're a student and you're the one that says that I have gotten this grade without your marking scheme, without your transcript having gone to your teacher or the person, your teacher, it does not make any sense. Because they will say that the price of unga have gone down. But the people of Kenya will also tell them, when William Ruto came to power in 2022, the price of diesel was 152 shillings. Now it is 222 shillings. That is a very major increase. They will tell you that the price of tiles, William Ruto, when he came to power, and you can listen and you can play his clips here. He was saying there is no way we can go on importing tires when we can actually manufacture them locally. Now, when he was coming to power, one packet of tires was retailing at 1,200. Now it is retailing at 1,900. That's a 700 shillings increment. Even a bag of cement, when he was coming to power, it was between 700 and 750 shillings. Now it's going beyond 1,000. So therefore, when he's speaking about these things, he himself, he will only speak about the things that he thinks, in his opinion, achievements that he has made.
But it's not just in his opinion.
Let me tell you, Rogers. This fertilizer subsidy, do you think the people of Nyandarua, which is a major food basket, Nyandarua is the leading producer of potatoes. Nyandarua is the leading producer of cabbages. Nyandarua is the leading producer of carrots. Nyandarua is the leading producer of French beans. All these horticultural products, they are all produced in Nyandarua. I'm the senator for Nyandarua. Do you think the farmers from Nyandarua can actually say the same?
If they're benefiting, why not?
But I'm the senator. I'm the representative. So Article 96, I represent them. I represent their interest, both in studio and even in the Senate. So therefore, I can tell you that they can't say the same. You can't go to NCPB in Olkalau or NCPB in Meharate and find that fertilizer. But when you come to Nairobi, you'll be told that farm inputs are in Nyandarua, but they're not there. Let me take, for example, let me give you a rough example. And let me tell you, every one aspect, especially on development, that you see William Ruto speak about so passionately, you must look at it with the third eye. Now, you always hear him take a lot of pride in the fact that he's the first president since 1978, or I think it's not 1978. Must have been 1982 when we had the All-African Games when Kasarani was made. So he's the second president after Daniel Moi to do the Taranta Stadium, isn't it? But now, if you put, on the face of it, we are very happy to have a Taranta Stadium.
100,000 capacity.
On the face of it, it looks very shiny. But when you scratch the surface, how much is that stadium costing?
Is it 100 billion? How much?
Let me tell you. The initial cost of that stadium was meant to be 48.2 billion shillings. Now, this money is not money that government had. Government did what we call off-book borrowing. Because, William Ruto is clever. Or he thinks he's clever. So he doesn't do the main borrowing from, the main borrowing book, the one that you go to IMF and what have you. So he does what we call off-book borrowing, either floating a bond or treasury bills. So in this case, he floated a bond for the sports fund. Now, this bond was supposed to be paid in 15 years. Now, the interest for that particular bond is 15% per year. So, 15% of 48.2 billion is about 7.6 billion every year. Now that loan is being paid biannually, or rather twice a year. Every 6 months we are paying. So every 6 months we are paying 3.6 billion. In essence, we are paying 0.5 billion every month. For the next 15 years, we shall have paid 100 billion, 101 billion interest alone. Now plus the principal, it will be like 150 billion. So we have Taranta Hera. We are very happy. But which other stadium in the world has ever costed 150 billion, including the biggest stadium in the world, Maracana Stadium, including Old Trafford? I'm a Man U fan. So when you measure, or when you put his word versus the reality of where, and that's why I've told you. Now, this hole that he has dug, we shall be in this hole for the next 15 years, even after he has left. He's digging a hole so deep that even the people who come after him will find a hole very deep. Now, let me, because, you asked me this question. And we have no reason of hating William Ruto. We only are telling the people of Kenya the danger that we are facing. And the reason why we think that William Ruto is a very dangerous animal that must be hunted and must be hounded out of office by all means. Now, when he came into power, the first decisions that he made when he came to power as president, one was the cancellation of the contract of the Rironi Summit Road, the one that had been given to a French company. That you are aware. And he said because we are cancelling this contract because it has been inflated. These rates that have been given are very high. What was the rate then? 168 billion. When he floated the contract again, it was given at a cost of 200 billion.
And when was this? Now, initially, it was in 2022 compared to last year when...
So what were we saving? Over and above that money that we lost, the French company went to court. They were awarded 7 billion, another 7 billion, over and above the 200 billion. So tell me, how is it that 207 billion is lower than 168 billion? And he wants to tell us that nyinyi hamuna akili, mimi ndio niko na akili. Surely, how is 168 higher than 207? Tell me, Rogers, because it's a conversation that we are having. How Uhuru Kenyatta was surviving as the President of the Republic of Kenya with a State House budget of 4.1 billion. And William Ruto in 2025-2026 had a budget of 17 billion. That is over 4 times him. We were being told that initially there was a buy in State House because the people who were there were taking alcohol. Now we have a chai drinking president and the budget has grown fourfold. How is it that a mzinga of chai is more expensive than even a mzinga of... I don't take alcohol myself. But how is it that he wants to run the country on handouts? Tell me, Rogers, which country has ever been run by inviting people to State House? You tell them, lift 2 fingers, lift 2 fingers, lift 2 fingers. When you lift 2 fingers, you say that you have a new term, you are given some money. Now you are told that private guards were there. So we are waiting for a day for nannies. We are also waiting for a day for touts, drivers, saloon operators, everybody. Because that is the only way. But anyway, I was told by somebody who went there, I went to visit some place and I found a private guard and asked him, oh, had you gone to State House? He told me yes. How was it? I'm very happy because I got an opportunity to go and say kwaheri to that man because I'm sending him home.
Interesting. Anyway, I'm just getting some information that the Rironi Mau Summit road design was actually changed. It didn't have the Mai Mahiu Naivasha segment, hence perhaps the difference in spending when it comes to that project.
Why was the project single sourced? But even more importantly, why would they not then have floated a tender for the Mai Mahiu Naivasha section?
And I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, we hear from government that they've had to make tough, difficult decisions that perhaps has affected their popularity for the betterment of this country. Borrowing from the words of your party leader, when he joined government, they found empty coffers. So they had to think outside the box. What do you make of the securitization program when the government taps into the sports levy fund in order to put up construction of infrastructure around the country? Isn't that thinking outside the box? Does it deserve credit in any way, shape or form?
I've just told you that bond for sports fund, for example, that is money because we are taking this money in advance. So this is money that is meant, we are not getting quality for our money. Because in essence, this stadium is not supposed to cost this. Now, for that securitization, you know the headroom that the government has been operating on this issue of fuel is on levies and taxes that are from government. So once you securitize all levies that are charged by government, and you securitize them for the next 7 years, where do you get the headroom when you get ourselves in a situation where world prices have changed? By the way, today as we are talking, is not the highest, we don't have the highest cost of a barrel of fuel. It has been higher in the past. It was higher in 2022. But because government has securitized, it has very little headroom where they can be able to cushion the consumer when we get ourselves in a situation where the world prices have gone up. Because once you securitize, you have already picked this money in advance. You already have this money in advance. True. And by the way, it would have felt so nice as the people of Nyandarua, for example, if we had seen that money that was used for securitization, if there's anything that you can see on our roads being done, if there was a road that was being done in Nyandarua, maybe you would say this is something that is making sense. If I was to play to you videos of things that William Ruto has said himself, he came to Nyandarua, 2023, May. He said in 1.5 years, I'll do the road from Shamata to Kaka to Kariamu.
And you called him out during the funeral.
I told him. What did he? What was his answer? He said, "I'll answer you not with words, but with actions." We are still waiting.
As we speak, nothing is ongoing.
Nothing. We are still waiting. Now we are no longer now in Singapore. We are headed now to 2060.
And I understand Kenyans are yearning for action, less promises. But at the end of the day, we'll equally have to speak about solutions, because political pundits say it's harder to defend government, and it's actually easier to call out government without providing solutions.
Actually, I think it is the other way around.
It's the other way around.
The easiest people to defend our government, because you see, if I was a president, I would not even come and say many things. I would just come to Nyandarua and say, I promised you the county aggregation industrial park. I have done such and such percentage. Within this and this number of days, I have done it.
Okay.
But now when he came to that particular function, I reminded him like 7 roads. Instead of answering me on the 7 roads, he added 2 more.
Promises.
2 more promises. He told us that he has 1 billion for the University of Nyandarua. 1 billion for the University of Nyandarua. In the budget, it is not there. So where was he to get this 1 billion?
Supplementary, maybe?
But in the
hold that thought.
But you
Let's
see, in
take a short break.
the budget that keeps growing is the state house budget.